All right, we're in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, just looking at verses 12 through 23. The first question is, what doctrine is Paul presenting here? If you have a Bible with headings, it would probably say it, the resurrection of the dead, trying to prove that the resurrection of the dead is a true doctrine. How, and there's the second question, how did he prove it was true? Just take a look at the first few verses. He says, but if it is preached that Christ has been raised from the dead, how can some of you say that there is no resurrection of the dead? Here's verse 13. If there is no resurrection of the dead, so if that's true, that there is no resurrection, then not even Christ is raised from the dead. Verse 14. And if Christ has not been raised, our preaching is useless, and so is your faith. Here in these two verses, you see him using logic. He's saying, if this is true, then this is also true. And that can't be true, so that means that this cannot be true. He's using just reasoning, logical deduction, we would call it in today's language. And this is how he chose to prove that what he was saying is true. The next question says, why do you think he didn't mention that all of the apostles, including himself, believed it? Why didn't he use that as a proof that it was true? I think that's very important here. Here in 1 Corinthians 15, in the book of Romans, in his letters to the Galatians as well, we find Paul using not his authority as an apostle, not the authority of the other apostles. He doesn't say, well, Peter believed this and Peter walked with Jesus. He says, based on reason, based on the scriptures, these things were so. What does this mean to us? That's the last question. This means that we also ought to not put our confidence in educated or experienced or eloquent speakers, or even people that we know to be have a strong connection with God. Our faith, our confidence in what is true ought to be in the Word of God. You remember the Bereans in Acts, it says that they searched the scriptures diligently for themselves to see if the things that were preached by Paul were so. And I think this is a very important point, that we should not just rest on the word of popular or eloquent or educated or experienced preachers, which again, I'm not discounting that. We need to definitely expose ourselves to them, and we grow by those things. We all grow by those things. But we need to go deeper than that. And it's not just true because so-and-so preached it and because so-and-so said it. But we need to go to the scriptures ourselves, searching the scriptures and finding out if these things are so.